Finger licking live.
Know, man.
It's Kane over here. Turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You seen big homie get a fumble, he get a turnover chain. Seen big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd going user, we want the turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy, we want that turnover chain, turnover chain. Turnover chain is deeper than jewelry, deeper than blink. It's deeper. See, this is our thing, and you was the team that's strictly for Kane. Invented the swag, you rented and brag, but we want it back. Let me get that. But you can keep the old one, cause we keep something in the bag. I live when it's sunny, even when raining or something. We ain't gonna be something. I hope your quarterback don't think it's sweet. The defense will make them take a seat. And if somebody strip the ball out, then somebody get a Cuban link. Now you know how I go with the fans though. We be going wild out in the stands though. If you're not with the team, you're not familiar. If you throwing U's up, you not familiar. Come on, get loose like a band, trombone. Throw 3 or 5 up, my home. CWA, tell them about it. All the canes going wild when we yelling this out. Turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You see big homie get the fumble, he get a turnover chain. See big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd going user, we want that turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy, we want that turnover chain. Who that?
So low, so low, deep. So low, so low, so low, deep.
It's some canes over here. It's some canes over here.
Welcome to Coach Hayes Football Live. He can talk about anything from high school to the pros. This guy knows the game, so you better not be half-stepping.
I can guarantee you most of the audience is going to agree with me before they agree with you.
Strap in, because Coach Hayes is about to
Crack your cranium and fertilize your brain. Go ahead, right here, right now.
subscribe now and check out CoachHayesFootball.com.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome back to another episode. As always, let me know everything looks good, sounds good, so we can get this thing rolling and we can get this thing going. We're going to have fun today. It's Father's Day, but I don't want to talk too much. I want to make sure everything looks good and sounds good. So real quickly, please let me know everything looks good in the chat section so we can get this thing rolling and we can get this thing started. So give me a quick thumbs up. Also, big shout out to Clavon Bostic. Hashtag Kane Gang. I'm loving it. Terrence Johnson. Hit the like button on the way in. What's up, Kane family? Jenkins. I said Johnson. I apologize. Haitian Ellen in the building. The first lady through the smoke. Happy Father's Day. Thank you. I'm not a father, though, but I've had a lot of my kids call, former players and stuff call in today. So, I appreciate it, man. And thank you so much, Haitian Ellen. Gerson says, what's up? Haitian Ellen with the thumbs up, so I guess everything looks good and sounds good. We currently got 30 in the chat, so we're going to make that thing happen as well. And also, Bottom 1155, where you been, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. He said, yo, happy Father's Day. If you are father, happy Father's Day to you, and happy Father's Day to everyone out there as well. Big shout out. Look at this, man. You guys bringing them in already. Pump Gauges with the strong arm. I'm loving it. And Coke Dog 305, he said, what they do, Canes fam? I appreciate it, man. All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. Bottom 11 hit with the $10, man. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and Bergie, good evening, Coach. How we doing? So I already got to start this thing off. I got to give my man his love right now. I appreciate you so much, man. Hold on, wait for it. Oh, there you go. It beat me to it, man. Bottom 11, 55, $10 super chat. Appreciate you. And here you go, man. right, appreciate that. Boss Hog in the building says, what they do, Canes fam. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day again to everybody. I know everybody's jumping in. I'm going to try and post these as much as I can. We got a super exciting show. My guest is a little bit late because he's doing his Father's Day thing with his father, but that's okay. We're going to make it happen. All right, got a couple of things I need to tell you guys about. Let's do a little housekeeping in the process, and we'll make this thing happen. And let's see here. Stacy Hall says, Coach, who would be the next commit? We're going to talk about that real quick. We got a big commit out of a cornerback out of Mississippi. So I do want to talk about that. I want to see what you guys got to say in the chat about this big commit, and we're going to do that. But before we get started, big shout out to Solo D. Trust me, man, the dude gave us the blessing for his music. Go just stop by the page, Miami Sports Music. Type it in on YouTube. It'll pop right up. Hit that subscribe button for him, man. He gave us the blessing. Also, for our sponsor today, Mr. Alex Tabio from Certified Home Loans. Man, he sponsors this show. He does a great job. Check him out if you have anything dealing with homes, whether it's mortgages, real estate, brokers, all that kind of stuff. FHA, VA, conventional loans. Check him out. Just give him a call. It's worth the phone call, and you'll see the sponsorship tab right in the bottom in a second. But his phone number is 305-205-1697, as well as all the information is in the description below as well. So either call him or email him, check him out. All right, let's talk a little bit about the latest commit. Guys jumping in the ocean, all these different things that's going on, man. Kamari Rogers, I think he's ranked number 9 in the country right now. Cornerback in the country, decides to leave out of the heart of SEC country in Mississippi, right? And we know SEC. Think about what's right around that. You have, of course, you have the Alabama, you have the Auburn, you have LSU, you have Ole Miss. I mean, it's tons of schools that's in the SEC, and he decided to come to the U, which is great. So I appreciate it. Let's talk about it. I want to see somebody post something in the chat. I'm going to do a film for him as well. It'll be coming out this week, so you guys be able to check that out as well. Let me see what else we got going on before we get here. You just said it. Darian James said, WRE Kamari Rogers, Miami commit. I definitely going to do that. Like I said, it just hit here over the weekend. We definitely going to WRE that young man and see what he's all about and break him down. All right. Also, as you see right over my shoulder, I got the countdown to the Hurricane Alabama game. So they got 75 days, 20 hours, 48 minutes, and 17, 16, 15, 14 seconds before we break our foot off in their behind, if you understand what I'm saying. All right, we're going to definitely make that thing happen. Here we go. Also, Hurricane Kilo 47 say we definitely need that WRE. Well, it's coming, my man. Trust me, it's not far behind. We got a lot of other guys that's coming as well and see what's going on. I'm going to actually do this while I'm waiting for him to come in. It'll probably be right about 7 o'clock. I'm going to open up the phone lines real quick. So if you guys want to call in, we can talk about it. Let's do that. So the phone lines are going to be open here at 321-328-8235. You guys are more than welcome to call in. Let's talk about it. I want to hear your opinion on it. And where do the Canes go from here? I still think we got a soft spot when it comes to linebackers, right? And also, let's talk about this. A lot of you guys may not know this. Arizona State is in shambles right now with everything they got going on. But the reason I'm bringing up Arizona State, there's a young man there named Tommy Hill, okay, out of the Orlando area, one of the top dogs. If you don't know who Tommy Hill is, you better go check him out. He went to Arizona State. Maybe he might be trying to get up out of there with all that's going on. If you haven't heard about the recruiting violations and everything at Arizona State, it's not looking good, guys. Trust me. I love Herm Edwards. I like what he does as a coach. I like all of that stuff. But he didn't just bend the rules. He actually broke them bad boys. So I'm be interested to find out how this whole thing turns out. Will guys be jumping ship? Will the NCAA allow them to jump ship? What kind of sanctions are going to be put on them? I mean, it's bad. And for those that don't know, I'll just give you a quick summary. They broke a lot of recruiting rules in regards of during the COVID time. They were having guys coming on campus, and they knew what they were doing because they taking them on tours at 9 and 10 o'clock at night. Right? Nobody else is around. Everything's closed down. And one of the former employees kept some receipts, some screenshots, and took some pictures and different correspondence and passed that on to the NCAA. They haven't put that person's name out there yet, but It's bad. So like I say, call in. Let's talk about these recruits. But I did want to bring that up about Tommy Hill because he's a bad boy. He's right out of Orlando, went to Orlando Edgewater, where we got Troutman from, Deshaun Troutman, the same high school. They were on the same team. Hopefully he might put a call in because that's a bad boy. Trust me, he put that team on their back, man. You understand? Hey, Bergie. Come on, Bergie. You ain't even fun, man. He said you play to win the game. Herm's best quote ever. You right about that. He played to win the game. He ain't say nothing about getting caught. You know what I mean? Terrence said, did Tommy play for Jones? No, he played for Orlando Edgewater. And he was very integral in their success. Played receiver, played primarily DB, but played receiver as well. And I'm telling you that I've seen him from a young buck to where he got up and he can go, man. Let me answer a couple questions. Stacey Hall says, Coach with the 321 area code. Where you at? Because I'm from Cocoa with the 321 area code. Oh man, I'm in Orlando actually right now, but this was the number that was just given, the 321 area code number. So I just used this as a Google number. So that's what they gave me. I had it forever, and they won't let me actually change it. I tried to get a 305 number if you want to know the truth, but they wouldn't let me do that. Anyway, let's talk about that. Come on, guys, call in. The phone line is open. It's paid for. Like I said, I want to hear your thoughts on the latest commitment. What are the fans talking about in regards to how, like in June, we're starting to see a lot of commitments. We're starting to see a lot of movement when it comes to recruiting. Manny Diaz and those guys are on the trail. They bringing in big-time names on campus. I want to hear your thoughts about it because, guys, y'all don't have no hesitation to calling in when things ain't right. So I definitely want to see, I want to hear what you have to say when it does go right. Also, today's show, on today's show, we're talking about the quarterbacks. That's what the title is. I guess basically the quarterback race. Who's going to get it? Will it be TVD? Will it be Jake Garcia? Will it even be De'Aaron King? You know, if he comes back from his injury, everybody say he's healing well. He's doing a great job with that. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see what's going to happen. But I'm bringing on Baylin Trujillo. You know, he's actually on during the season with me for the pre and post games. And he's a quarterback coach, played quarterback. And he has a quarterback training here called B-Tru QB Training. And I wanted to get his insight on what he thought about them, especially since the spring game. You had an opportunity to see those three guys, see what they really can do and how well they fit in the offense as well. So let me see here real quick. We got 56 in the chat. I appreciate you guys. Let me see here. Hurricane Pip Diehard says, got some canes over here. That's right. Happy Father's Day, champs. I'm loving it, man. And I found out what FTW stand for, 305 MDC. I know what it stands for, but it says y'all hit the thumbs up. I'm loving that too. Let's make it happen. And of course, bottom, beat Bama. We're going to talk about that. And I have to say this. If you guys notice on my show, I still haven't really talked about Alabama yet. I haven't talked about us and Alabama. I still think it's very early to talk about it because what I don't want to do on the show is just get redundant, right? And we just keep talking about the same thing. As you see, I got my time up there. We got 75 days. So basically 2.5 months before we put this cane on them. You know what I'm saying? And I want to get a little bit closer. Also, heads up for those that's listening. I'm going to do what I call the YouTube takeover. All right. I'm going to try. Hopefully the computers let me do it. I'm going to do 8 hours straight, an 8-hour podcast straight of Canes. And I got quite a few guys that have already committed to coming on. Brad Tejada said he would come on. Miami Flo said he'd come on. I talked to Coop. I haven't talked to him yet, but I texted him during his show. And Coach Coop, we got to talk and work some things out. Not on a bad way, but I'm saying we got to talk. We haven't had a chance to talk, so he doesn't really know what it's about. I know he's just coming, so hopefully Coach Coop can come on. Let me see here. Wholesome Holloway say he's going to come on. Zoe say he's going to come on. And I want to kind of break it down by position. We're going to do 8 hours straight. I want to actually do it on that Friday, but I will be traveling to the game. So I may do it that Thursday starting around 4:30, and we're going to go to midnight. That's right. We're going to midnight. So we're going to make that thing happen. I want you guys to tune in and make sure you check that out as well. So mark that on your calendar. I'm going to start promoting it here in a little bit. I just want to make sure I got everybody lined up for this episode. Let me see here. T2Y. I'm sorry. T2Y said he'll be on there. Yeah, Stacey Hall said, I've seen a video on T2Y channel with King throwing and moving very well. So T2Y will be on as well. Yeah, he looks good. Like I say, I mean, but everything looks good in short and shirts. You know what I mean? So the question I have for him, and I don't want to kind of get ahead of myself, but the question I have for King is, will he be timid in his game? You know, this is not the first time he's done this to himself. Not himself, but this is not the first time this has happened to him. So I'm not sure how he's going to play. You know what I mean? And I've always said this. I would rather him not play the first game and we win Alabama. I'm not going to say the other way. And him play out and feel confident, or maybe get a couple rep snaps here and there. I don't know, man. When you deal with that kind of injury, it can get tough, man. It can get tough. So like I said, phone line is open, guys. Give me a call. I want to hear from somebody. Hey, Chanelin, I've never heard you before. Call in. Let's talk about it. You always up in the building, but you can't be a wallflower. Come on, call in. I want to hear you guys. You got to have something to say. And I want more ladies to come on and talk too, man. I looked at my analytics. 97% of the people who watch my channel are men, right? Come on, man. We got to do better than that, all right? Even though it's Father's Day. All right. So I'm glad you guys are sharing Father's Day with me. I'm not going to be on here too long. Hopefully Baylin will be coming on here in a second, and we'll definitely break this stuff down. Don't be laughing. What you laughing at? The phone number's right there, 321-328-8235. Call in. Let's see what you're talking about. Cynthia Wilcox. Here we go. Another lady in the building. Is it too soon, but Bama people can't handle the problem that Miami Hurricane can win this game? Happy Father's Day. I'm telling you, man, I think the Bama people feeling it. They starting to understand we ain't playing around. Here we go. We got a call in the building right now. Let's see here. Caller, talk to us. Give us your name, where you calling from.
What up, Coach? This is Pump Gauges calling out of Fort Stewart, Georgia. By way of Florida, though.
Already. Pump Gauges in the building. What's going on, man? It's been a while since you called in.
Chilling. Yeah, man. I'll be studying on Sundays. I'm not gonna lie. I'm part of the replay crowd. Usually, I watch it at night.
I love it. I appreciate it. So, what's up, man? Talk to me.
No doubt. I'm just really excited about the Kamari Rogers commit. He was a former LSU commit. You know, Mississippi, that's LSU, Alabama territory right there, at least for the top guys. So getting him out of there, that's a DVD and T-Rob really doing their work. They earning their paycheck already.
They putting in that work, man. They going to snatch them guys. Like I said, that's big, man. That's a big time recruit. You know, like I said, and the hard thing for me, Pump, is I don't watch their highlight tape. So I don't know what this dude can and can't do, because I like I said, when I do my WREs, what you see is the first time I watch it. So, I mean, it was so hard for me last night. I got my phone. I'm like, I want to check, but I'm like, no, I got to give him the raw, authentic. So I hear the hype. I got to see if the hype is really, I'm going to keep it real, man. I'm going to keep it 100 with him.
Yeah. Real good kid, real athletic kid. I heard that whole official visit thing went very well this week. Matter of fact, I just was watching Brad on Mark Rogers' show, I believe, last night after the commit. He's talking about there was a whole bunch of silent commits, but I'll let him speak about that when he get on the show later.
Wow. Yeah, man. That's awesome. Like I said, I was kind of worried, though, Pump. I have to be honest with you. I was kind of worried at the beginning because other guys were picking up some. I understand it was a little slow because of the COVID. Things weren't open. Yeah. But I thought we were kind of tenderfoot with taking commits and stuff. It's just the way the game is played now, right? Unfortunately. And I thought we were a little tender and a little soft with taking some guys commits, or maybe not saying, hey, no, not now. But from what I'm hearing, like I said, from what I'm hearing, we getting some big time guys coming through the building, man.
I'm hearing it's pretty raucous down there. The Shamar Stewart being on campus every other day is I'm liking the way that's. I would love to keep him at home.
We got to,
absolutely.
Man. We got to. I love the fact, like you said, I heard something about him coming on campus because he's friends with a lot of the guys who've committed or guys who's currently on the team, and that's awesome, man. Like you can't lose a guy to LSU, man. Like, let's be real. Like, think about this. Maybe I could give a little credence to it if it was the year after they won the Natty. But after last year's season, come on, man.
No, absolutely not.
Come on, man.
We can't keep losing these super freaks out of Dade, Broward County, regardless. Like watching Pat Surtain going 8th overall, and all these kids going here, there, and out of Dade and Broward County. That break my heart, man.
It breaks my heart, bro. Like I said, to see these guys leave, you know, and like I've always said, the hardest thing in the world for me, Pump, is we are in the mecca of football, high school football. And
absolutely.
And everybody's coming to get our guys, and we have to go out and get guys from places like Mississippi when we got the same, if not better, right literally in our backyard. And I understand it. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand it. But it's mind-boggling to me, that whole situation. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But with that being said, I still take Kamari.
Of course.
A lot of absolutely. Over everybody besides Lord. Yeah, I still take him. He just get a take regardless for me in this class, no matter where he's from. Dudes really like that.
Oh, listen, let me ask you this before I let you go, because my guest just popped in. All right, we got us a Sigmund $5 super chat. I appreciate that, Sig. Thank you. He said, just got on Coach 10 stacks. What did I miss? You didn't miss too much. We just kind of talking about Kamari Rogers' commit. I got Pump Gauges here on the phone right now. So, well, we loading them up. FTW with the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. He says, let me pump these things up here, man. Hold on, Pump, give you 1 second. And he says, Chubb Mobile jumping in there. Let me see. FTW says, Coach, we need an Anthony Lucas WRE. He is a top 5 D tackle from Arizona. Dad attended UM and family is Haitian. He's on an official visit this weekend. All right, appreciate that. And also, we got Chug Mo Beer. Pump, you got to give me 1 second. Chug, this for you right here. Trust me, I did something a little different. Chug Mo Beer with the $10 says, Coach Hayes, is great to be a Miami Hurricane. Smash the like button, you family. Let's go, Canes. And you know I always give you your chug, but guess what, Chug Mo Beer? Check me out. You ready? I got rid of the red cup, baby. I got a cane juice cup. I got a cane juice cup, baby. Yes, sir. And for you, Chug Mobile. There we go. And let's guess what I got on the back. I got my Hurricanes, baby. I'm loving it. So there we go. We got our cane juice cup. No more red cups in the building. Let me give them their love pump, and then we'll jump on to that last section. Hold on 1 second. All right, Pump, let me ask you this one question. Based on his highlight tape, because I haven't seen it, talk to me. Do you think I like it? Will I not like it? And second is, what does he do extremely well?
I definitely think you like it. And he's, for me, ultra athletic, most athletic kid on the field, which is going to be granted with Mississippi, and he has real smooth hips to me. Real smooth hips and man coverage, tight man coverage for me. So DVD and T-Rob definitely got something they could work with.
All right, I love it. So I'm going to take that in consideration too, man. I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. Let me get my guest on you in the backstage. Let me get him on to get this thing rolling, man. Appreciate you.
Much love. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Y'all take care.
All day. Appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot, man. All right, we got my man here. Peace, man. All right, we got my man in the building, man, Mr. Baylin Trujillo. I see you rolling in style right now. He probably flying from where he was. Miami Flow, he's coming on tonight at 8:30, I believe he comes on. He's in the building. He says down here, Coach Hayes is wild. I'm loving it. You see that cane cup right there. You see it. You see that cane cup. And I got a call coming in right now, but I'm going to take you up because I want to get my guest on there. We're going to open the phone lines back up. So I apologize for those that's on the call. Let me take that down right quick. All right. Okay, real quick, man. Miami Flow, I'm kind of all over the place, and I got a lot of things going on. We got Super Chat. Hey, Chanel with the $14.99. I just saw Chug Mobile with the $20. He says, now that's the way to chug. Let's go, Coach Hayes. God dog, Chug Mobile. Cane juice in the building, baby. All right. Hey, Chanelin in the building. Hey, Ed Mobile, hold my bill. Sorry, I always wanted to do that. I love it. All right, here we go. Let's get my man Baylin Trujillo in the building. Let's get him on. But before I do, I got to give him a love. Here you go. Love, fellas. Appreciate y'all. And lady. Hey, Chanelin, get more ladies on the field. All right, without further ado, we got the young man of the hour in here. Let's see if we can bring him on. Where is he at? Is he on?
I see you.
Come on, guy. We got 79 in the chat. I got him on, but I got a blank screen. Let's see what's happening with him, man. Anyway, let me try to see if... Here we go. There he is. Mr. Baylin Trujillo in the building. Talk to me, man.
What's up, man? Just enjoying Father's Day right now with my dad. Just left City Walk Universal. We just walked around, spent some good quality time together. So on my way back home, just to relax for the rest of the night, obviously talk some Canes football. This is a very big topic for me because most of the people probably don't know I quarterback train here in Orlando, Florida. I travel all across the country, put on quarterback camps, work with Elite 11. Have trained former Canes before, as well as, for some reason I have an in with Florida State with their quarterbacks as of recent, but we won't talk about that. Maybe I train them so that they can lose to us, but yeah, man. So
there you go. Hey, the old Trojan horse, baby. The old Trojan horse.
So, but I'm all about Canes, man. So I'm really excited about, again, tonight's conversation about quarterbacks, and thank you, Coach Hayes, for having me on the show. I love being a part of this, as some of you guys probably watched throughout the season with the prediction segment. I know I'm very boisterous about that and very braggadocious, if you could say, because there was one game in particular in which we just talked about, Florida State Miami, where I called a crazy score, and everybody on the show thought I was crazy, and it ended up being I was 7 points away from the actual prediction. I think I said it was like 45-10. It ended up being 52-10. So. Crazy stuff, but I'm so excited to be on the show, man. Thanks for having me.
Always, man. You always know, man. It's an open invite. Like I told you, you always more than welcome. But I know right now you got so much going on with your camps and this, that, and the other, man. But you always, like I say, all you gotta do is call me, man. I'm putting it out there publicly too. But let's do this. Let's talk about this real quick. Breaking news. Landon Ibieta just commits to the U. I believe he's a wide receiver. I think Brad Trujillo. I hate jacking his name up. Brad. I'm just calling him Brad. Everybody knows Brad from the U. He loves this guy. I think he kind of located him in Louisiana somewhere. So that's huge commit right there. I think he was just on campus. So that's huge right there. I believe he plays wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken. But let's jump into the meat of this conversation as we get going here. So we're talking about quarterbacks, Baylin. We know there's three basic quarterbacks here that's in the running, I guess. We already know De'Aaron King, bar the injury. He would not have had another year if it wasn't for COVID. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. If it was not for COVID, his last game would have been in that bowl game, and I highly doubt he probably would have participated in that game. So because he made the decision about 4 days before the actual bowl game that he was coming back, I don't believe he would have come back if it wasn't for COVID. So thank goodness for COVID. He is officially coming back. And again, he made that announcement right before the bowl game. I've been in the bowl game, unfortunately. He suffered an injury that I have also suffered myself in my playing career twice, torn ACL on both of my legs or both of my knees. And it's not a severe injury as it was back in the day. I mean, this used to be career ending. I mean, I remember watching as a Canes fan as early as 2002 when Wilson McGahee ended up blowing his entire knee out. And just the drastic, he kind of set the mold of, that comeback story from an ACL, because before then, usually people don't come back the same, and they don't produce, and they're just a little slower, or they don't walk the same, or nerve damage prevents them from ever stepping on the field again. So, but now as technology's increased and doctors have perfected almost the ACL or anterior ligament surgery, people are coming back fast. And like myself, came back in 5 months after my injury on both knees, fully ready to go. So I know that there is success rates at this injury, and I'm looking forward to Derek having the similar outcome.
Yeah, man. And correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't T.O. have this same type of injury and he went into the isobaric chamber and all that trying to get back. I mean, just think about what he did trying to recover so quickly to what modern medicine is today. So like you said, that's huge, man. That's huge. So let's get into this part. So we're talking about D'Eriq King. Like I said, barring an injury, he probably would have been gone, right? Like you say, he may or may not have played, probably would not have played in that game. Then you come up with TVD at the time and Matoka, really, and then Jake Garcia comes along, right? So now the top three are King, of course, he comes back, DVD.
That was a big commitment, man.
That was a huge commitment. And I have to say this, I broke the film down. You guys saw it. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I was pleasantly surprised with Jake Garcia's performance. I think TVD was right where we thought he should be. That's my opinion, where we thought he should be, being in the program already a year, being in college, so forth. And then with D'Eriq King, of course, not playing in that, but we already know what he can do. But I was pleasantly surprised with the way Jake Garcia handled himself. Of course, I know it wasn't full-fledged. D linemen weren't trying to kill him, but still stepping out on that stage as a true early freshman, right? And what he did. So that's huge right there. Let me say this to you, Baylin. Let's talk about this. How do I say? Let's go through this. What I want to talk about first is, what are the three things that the guys bring up? What are the three things the guys bring to the table? Let's start with King right now. I'm not sure if you got your window down or not, but boy, you rolling loud. Well, I tell you, this is why I love Baylin, man. This is why I love Baylin. What, you got the window up? I mean, window down? Oh, I tell you, boy. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like breaking up in and out.
All right, I didn't know if you had your window down. It was super loud, whatever it was. I don't know if you had the window down. But anyway, all right, let's go through this, man. So we're talking about King, TVD, and Garcia, right? All right, let's go through King, those three. Let's talk about King. Everybody kind of knows, but I want to hear your point from a quarterback coaching perspective, playing the position, so forth. What is it that King does well for this offense? How does he fit in this offense and all those type of things?
Well, if you guys know anything about football, which I'm glad, Coach Hayes, you do, we know that Rhett Lashley's style of offense is geared towards a spread attack with a dual threat quarterback. He has most of his success has been at Auburn when he was there, coaching Cam Newton, in which he won the national title. And then when he went up to UConn, he had a dual threat quarterback there, but in Pintel, but he didn't really pan out the way that maybe he was recruited out of high school. Now he's doing some really big things in the Fan Football League, which is pretty cool to see. But then you come to Miami, and you're walking into a situation where you think Perry might be the guy, Jaron Williams might be the guy. You just don't know, and then all of a sudden he transfers, and then we land probably the biggest recruit at the quarterback position that we've had in a long time, other than Kyle Wright, and that's D'Eriq King. And so when D'Eriq King had come in and filled that role in the offense, he fit Rhett Lashley perfectly, which is why I think he came into Miami, because at the end of the day, when you evaluate quarterbacks and you break down your offense, it's change is tough, because again, and my belief as a coach, you adapt to your players. You don't run your system unless you have the players to do so. If you don't, you have to change. And they brought in Rhett Lashley to run his system that was successful at Auburn. So with that being said, he's not getting that in Jaron Williams. He's not getting that in N'Kosi Perry. He's not getting it in some of these guys that we have already. So what does he do? They go after the transfer portal and they bring in, boom, D'Eriq King, who is a true dual threat quarterback that can do the things that Rhett Lashley wants to do, which is why, let's be honest, there was no quarterback competition. The moment he walked on campus, he was the household name. He was a celebrity name. He was everywhere. He was a starting quarterback. There was no battle. I don't care what was said. He fit the mold, which is why he chose Miami over a lot of different schools he could have went to. It's just that fit. So when you talk about what D'Eriq King brings to the table, one, his ability to run the football in a spread offense, RPO type offense. You have to count for that. The fact that he's so dynamic with his legs is what sets him apart at that quarterback position in that offense for Miami. Let's talk about Miami. Is he successful in other offenses? Probably not. In my opinion, he's not. Like, let's say he goes to, I would say, Alabama. Perfect example. I don't think he has that much success. I do think he's almost like a Jalen Hurts, but he's not quite that pocket passer, Tua or Mac Jones, where he's just going to sit there and dissect the offense. I don't think he's going to do that. I think his ability to be successful is on his legs, which helps him in the Miami offense with Rhett Lashley. I'm more gearing towards Rhett Lashley and what he brings to the table. You know, if he's running Mark Richt's offense, not a good fit. I'm telling you that right now. He's just not a good fit. That's where we talk about Tyler Van Dyke or even Jake Garcia, right? We're talking about Miami's offense with Rhett Lashley. Does D'Eriq King fit the mold? What does he bring to the table? He is an RPO-style quarterback that does things with his legs as well as his arm, and that helps us win football games.
All right, that's awesome, man. My bad, I'm over here, got things going off. So no, and that's perfect. So now, like you said, you got Tyler Van Dyke in now. So now, how does Tyler Van Dyke fit within that mold of Rhett Lashley's offense, as you say?
Here is where it separates. So Tyler Van Dyke, if you go watch his highlight film in high school, he is not your typical dual threat. He is not. He's a pocket passer. He has the gift to throw anywhere on the field at any point in time, no matter where he is. From hash to hash, he can throw the deep ball perfect. He's a very accurate quarterback. He doesn't make many mistakes, as we've seen in the spring. That was probably the best spring a quarterback has had at Miami. And I don't know how many. I mean, in his first scrimmage or second scrimmage, he threw 5 touchdowns, no picks, and almost went perfect. I mean, it's just like, I feel like in the spread offense, you take away the RPO side of the spread, he's perfect. The only problem is that's all they ran in spring was a spread offense. They did not run more of an RPO style offense. They let the kid throw the ball a lot. So when you talk about Rhett Lashley's RPO offense, does Tyler Van Dyke have success in that? I do not believe so, only because he doesn't have the threat of running the football. He's a big frame, runs like a 4.9 40, has no really speed. If he's doing RPO, he's handing the ball off. If he's not, he's getting 4 yards sliding. Like, there's no big gains from him like we would see with D'Eriq King, you know? So that the upside with Van Dyke is that he can throw the football accurately in a spread offense. But with Rhett Lashley and the tempo that he has, you know, when you add the run game in there, he has no threat to that. So can he be successful? Yes, because his arm is talented enough. But over the course of a season, when they figure it out, when they start playing cover 4 and they start doing, you know, 2 high safeties, you know, cover 2 shell, or they're setting blitzes, is he going to be consistently the quarterback we need in that offense? In my opinion, I don't believe so. But again, he brings such a good dynamic with his arm because he's so talented with the ability to throw the football that Rhett Lashley is going to have to readjust his offense to become straight spread and not RPO.
Okay, and then now let's take it to the third option, which is now Jake Garcia, the true freshman, coming in, and he showed a lot of talent. Like I told you, I was pleasantly surprised by his performance during the spring game, with his ball placement, his accuracy. You know, not necessarily getting rattled. Like I said, I know that the D line and they weren't hitting the quarterbacks. I get that, but still, there's still a psyche in there that, I'm on a college field, right? Here, the pressure of I have to perform to meet the hype and so forth and so on. What is your take on his gameplay for our offense?
Here's the thing, because I was a big fan of Tyler through the spring, but again, he never ran the RPO system. It was just straight spread. He's just throwing the football. But here's what Jake brings to the table. And like you just mentioned, the kid just turned 18. The kid was supposed to be going to his high school prom, and he's in the middle of a spring game at the University of Miami. Think about that. The kid was supposed to still be in high school, and yet he's performing at that level already. Now, and that's what I was so excited about his commitment to Miami, because, you know, he was supposed to be the next great thing at USC. They were banking on that kid staying at Southern Cal as a commitment. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, once Miami offered him, things changed. It was the weirdest thing. You know, everybody was wondering what happened on his recruiting trip. You know, South Beach will change your life at some point, whether they like it or not, which is a very, you know, I don't know what it is, but something happened on that trip, because, you know, people don't just decommit from Southern Cal, especially when you're supposed to be the next whatever, because as we know, USC plays young freshman quarterbacks, and they tend to have a lot of success at the college level. So for him to decommit from USC, where he is from, to come down to South Beach, where he knows that De'Ara King's there, Tyler Van Dyke is going into his second year. Before then, N'Kosi Perry, we had no idea what he was doing. And to say, hey, I'm going to commit to Miami, that speaks volumes. So something happened in that meeting room where they're like, we see something in you. And if you take over the reins, you could be the next guy. So he doesn't make that and roll early at that. So what Jake Garcia brings to the table is what De'Ara King has and what Tyler Van Dyke has. Throws the deep ball well and can run. And that's what separates him from Tyler Van Dyke. Because, again, if we look at the frames, Tyler Van Dyke's like 6'4" or 6'5", solid, 220, and, again, can throw the football, but he can't run. It's so evident. But then you have Jake Garcia, who is about 6'2", which is bigger than De'Ara King, but runs a 4.6 40. That's scary. So, and he's only going to get better. He might grow maybe an inch or so, become 6'3" with cleats on. Phenomenal. But the fact that he brings that RPO style of play with his arm talent, which is freak, that's like, I don't want to say he's got as much hype as his other California quarterback in Kyle Wright, but the kid has a lot of hype going in. And guys, we're talking about these three guys right now. I believe De'Ara King is going to be the guy. There's no question, even injured or not. But you mark my words. You watch how recruiting happens. The kid that just committed to Miami is a bigger De'Ara King and a true dual threat quarterback. So
Ja'Cory Brown,
that kid, yes. So pay attention how they're going to orchestrate things, because one of these two quarterbacks, and I have a weird feeling it's Tyler, might be hitting the exit soon. But we're going to check it out. But again, the cool thing about Jake Garcia, and sticking to the question, is he has something that De'Ara King has in his leg ability, because I guarantee De'Ara King runs like a 4. He's like a 4.5. He kind of slowed down a little bit. And then you have Tyler Van Dyke, who runs almost a sub 5 flat. Now you got a guy right in the middle, 4.6, 4.7, who can throw the deep ball accurately, something De'Ara King has struggled, something that Tyler Van Dyke excels in. You put those two together, you have Jake Garcia, and he's just 18 years old. So that's why there's a lot of hype around Jake Garcia. He came in and completely shattered the expectations. I don't think people are expecting him to have that much success early, and they kept it simple for him. So just imagine when they open up the playbook to his ability to play quarterback, it's almost scary. I'm really excited about Jake Garcia. I think he'll be the starter next year as a redshirt freshman. I don't see why they would play Van Dyke. Van Dyke will be, in my opinion, will be the backup coming into this year. But Jake Garcia is going to have a lot of playing time if they have that redshirt rule where they can come in and out and they can't play a certain number of games. But mark my words, Jake Garcia is the future of Miami. But the kid that just committed, I think there's a reason why that kid is committed, even with all the hype around Jake Garcia.
All right. So let me ask you this. I see a couple of people. We've talked about those three and what they possess. There are a couple of people in here. Of course, everybody got some opposition, so we could talk about it, man. That's what this is all about, right? D says TVD can run, to be honest. I'm gonna go through this. Miami Flo says TVD was a track guy. All right. And he says, somebody else says, D says, I guarantee TVD is faster than Garcia. So here's my take. I'm going to give my take on it, and then I'll let you go ahead and defend what you had to say. I can believe that. But what I look at is the difference between track and quarterback ability is the agility, right? The agility to be swift in the pocket and create acceleration, right? We're talking about creating a burst between 10 to 15 yards of true acceleration. Now, I don't know what TVD ran, so I have no idea what he ran in track. But I know a lot of guys, I know a lot of things at 100. That is total different, in my opinion. Now, again, I don't know what he did. I'm just saying what I know about track guys at the quarterback position. It's different than wide receiver because you're already rolling and running and moving and going. But from the quarterback, you pretty much from a standstill to a takeoff. It's really more explosion more than it is 40 time. How fast can I generate 15 yards in a small amount of space and be elusive? I don't know if TVD is elusive enough in those pockets and create that get out. I'm not saying he can't slip through the pocket and take it 20, 30 yards. But from an RPO standpoint, is he deadly? the RPO where he decides I'm gonna snatch this ball, and remember, RPO is not a straight line. I'm gonna have to make a guy miss and turn this corner. It's not RPO, pull it, go straight up the gut down the line. So that I don't know. We know King can do that. We've seen him do that. I seen Jake Garcia do that from his high school film. I even saw him, I believe, doing it on his spring deal. TVD is such a bigger guy. I don't know if he's a true RPO guy. Will they put some in his packaging? Probably so, just to keep people honest. But the question here is in the chat, answer this for me, guys and ladies. Does TVD scare a defensive coordinator in the RPO game with him keeping the ball? Like he's scared, like De'Aaron King may scare a guy, or like Garcia would scare a guy. That's just my only question. That's my opinion. Real quick, so Baylin, so what do you have to take on that right there before I go to the next set?
So I'm glad they mentioned that, because we're talking about a kid who was in high school 2 years ago. The kid has put on almost 35, 40 pounds since he was in high school when he was running track at a skinny 6'5". And like I said, I don't even know what events he ran, but when you look at his profile and when he ran the 40 and agility stuff, nothing jumped off the page. It was his ability to throw the football is what really stuck out for Tyler Van Dyke. Whereas in the contrary with Jake Garcia, you look on his highlight film, he's throwing the deep ball and he's running an RPO system where he ran in California and as well in Georgia when he transferred and won a state title. So, we're talking about two completely different players, one of which has been out of high school for 2 years. So all we're going to talk about is, yeah, he was in high school track. Well, that's phenomenal. A lot of guys are in high school track. What events did he run? Okay, he ran the 200. Okay, he ran the great. But guess what? He was 40 pounds lighter. And, and now we're playing college football where everybody else is 3 times bigger. So, again, I would love to know or even find out the farthest run he ran in all of spring. I bet you it's not past 12, and that's assuming he did run. But you look at Jake Garcia.
Hey, hold up, Baylin.
Dude nearly had 70 yards of rushing. I mean,
Baylin, stop right there. You got cut off. Your thing cut out. Say that last part again. You got cut out. The phone went out. Say the last part again.
So what I was saying is, yeah, I challenge someone on this chat to pull up a clip or any type of stats that show that Tyler Van Dyke ran more than 12 yards on any play in the entire spring, whereas Jake Garcia, his first scrimmage, he had nearly 70 to 75 yards rushing. So, I'm just there is the separation. And then if you watch the spring game over again, because you guys can do that on YouTube, take your time to do that, you'll see the different play calling and how they called for Tyler Van Dyke, where it was more passing attack and then obviously inside zone, where he was doing the fake of the carrying. But did he ever keep the ball? No. But Jake Garcia, they ran a lot of RPO, especially in the red zone, where it showed his ability to either keep the ball for a touchdown or pull it and throw the trigger. And I'm telling you right now, that is what separates the two quarterbacks. But again, you guys can talk about his high school accolades all you want. Great job. He probably did shot put for all we know. I don't know. But just because he was in high school at 6'4", 160, now he's 6'4", 235, he ain't.
This dude wild, man. This dude wild.
You want. Like it's more Tyler Van Dyke than anything, because of how near a perfect football that he played. He literally played a perfect spring. But think about this. Why is there an argument in the press? Why are we talking about Jake Garcia? They're at practice every day. They see the difference. Why are we talking about him so much if Tyler Van Dyke really did have a near perfect spring? And there's a reason. Jake brings a different dynamic to the game of football than just sitting in the pocket and throwing the ball around, because eventually that'll be figured out. But if a kid that can run or cause things in the pocket, be elusive, that causes defense to always keep that accountable. Always.
Sure. Well, let me do this before I go into the next segment right quick. Let me give Alakazam some love. Alakazam, hey, man, I ain't talked to you in a minute either. He said Jake is the best in my opinion. Remember, TL at Clemson was a freshman against Bama. As long as y'all win, I'll be happy. I'll be watching. Do it for the ACC. Hashtag go Canes. I appreciate you, man. Well, I'm going to show you what them Tigers look like. Let me go ahead and give you your love right now. All right, Here we are. All right, good thing. Baylin is in the house. He's steady, y'all. We can get some good talking in. All right, here we go. So here we go. Appreciate you, Zachary Campbell, for subscribing. So here we are now, right? Let's go to this piece based on what you were saying earlier about quarterback coaches or offensive coordinators. Offensive coordinators not making players fit their system, but their system fit their players. So basically what you're saying is that right now with Jake Garcia, De'Aaron King, and TVD, does Rhett Lashley go into meetings? Does he go into games with 3 different play call sheets?
That's what lies the question of who fits better in the playbook. I don't think you do that. You can't do that. Not as a coach. You cannot change. I mean, again, you'll see the difference in play calling as far as he'll still run the same stuff, but when you talk about Tyler coming in, he's going to be more attacking the offense in the air, right? He's not going to be doing more dual threat RPO stuff. Whereas if Jake Garcia comes to the game, you'll see some of the similarities in play calling with him and with how he calls it with De'Aaron King. So I don't think you come in with 4 different play call sheets, but I do think that you dictate based off your personnel and who you have and how you play call. They'll call the same way they called in the spring game and how he literally just passed the ball or handed off the inside zone. So which will be great because people won't have to, plan for that because, Tyler won't be a starter. So you come in, he's just going to throw the ball around. But then you talk about Jake Garcia, you kind of see the similarities with him and De'Aaron. So you might see a lot more RPO, but I don't think you should change. No.
Okay, so now that kind of goes based on what you're saying. Now then that kind of goes against what you were saying because he recruits De'Aaron King there. I don't know if TVD was already there or what did he not. And then you recruit Jake Garcia there. So you got 3 different styles of guys.
He was there.
Okay, so you got basically 3 different style of guys. So like I said, and you notice we work together. I can't do the same thing I can do with you as I could do with another quarterback. I'm not saying you change your offense, but I may scale back some of the things like my RPO games that I do with other things. So is that what you're saying that they should do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't change the play. You don't change like the playbook or anything. You go more towards a passing attack when you have Tyler in, or you'll start seeing a similar play calling with Jake as you would see De'Aaron King. I'm not saying don't change the playbook at all, but the way you call plays, yes, definitely will change. You won't see Tyler Van Dyke trying to pull the trigger and trying to run. Ain't going to happen. But you're going to see him do a 3-step drop slide in the pocket, trying to throw that dang deep ball or that comeback from the other hash. You'll see that for sure, like you did in the spring game.
I love it. So now let me ask you this piece. Let's go into this section here, man, before we get into it. And I thank you guys for subscribing, man. I saw 5 rings. Subscribe. Appreciate it. You guys hit that subscribe button. We got 126 in the chat. I appreciate it. Hey, man, everybody else, thank you so much. Hit the button. It costs nothing. Coach Hayes is giving away free Father's Day gifts right now. Free subscribe buttons to everybody in the chat right now. Free subscribe button. Just hit the button. It's free. Costs you nothing. So that thing should be jumping off all day over my head. But anyway, let's make this thing happen. So now here's my question. You already said De'Aaron King should be the starter hands down. I totally understand that. Let's just say he beat me too. He beat me too. Okay, so now Jake Garcia. But do you take? No, I'm being honest. I mean, if that's how you feel, I get it because I don't think there's a wrong answer.
I'm kidding.
So who do you go with?
It's a question.
The question is, if not
experience and
not De'Aaron, TBD. I don't know what's wrong. You all messed up, man. I don't know what you're doing now. This dude, hey, this is why I love you, Baylin. I don't know what you're doing, man. This dude, you're walking the dog. Lord have mercy. Anyway, he's stuck. I'm giving out Laugh Out Loud. D Nice, appreciate you. Coach Hayes for Father's Day is giving out free subscriptions to the channel. Nah, man, you done walked out past your Wi-Fi, man. I don't know what you got going on.
You hear me?
No, man.
You don't hear me?
This dude. Baylin.
Yo.
Baylin.
You hear me?
If you say that one more time, Baylin. All right, here you go. I'm gonna mute you. I had to mute him, dog. Yeah. I hear you now. You back in the house, you got your Wi-Fi up, bro?
You hear me?
I hear you. – Well, I tell you, bro. Anyway, the show must go on. That's my man. I get it. I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, hopefully he'll come back on. But anyway, he said Brian Davis said he's spontaneous. I guess he's talking about Baylin. I don't know what he's talking about. But anyhow, let me get into this part. So here's my next question I was saying, but based on Baylin's logic, is that you have to bring in, and I agree with that logic, that you have to come in with several different playbooks because you have guys that have 3 different skill sets. So I totally understand it. You understand what I'm saying? I totally understand that. So my next question was going to be, you guys can pose this here in the chat, is going into this game, D'Eriq King is medically not cleared to play. Who do we go with? Second part of that question is, D'Eriq King is medically cleared to play, right? And let's just say he may having a rough time of it. Do you give those other 2 guys a shot to see what they can do? That's really where I'm coming from in this sense. I don't know what this dude is. We were having a great conversation. The man been on the highway, in the house, out the house, walking the dog. Coach A's back in the building. We're going to make it happen. But anyway, Kane Gang Cartel Sniper says, I love that name. He said, D'Eriq King will be ready. And I'm fine. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with Kane Gang. Kane Gang. I'm fine with D'Eriq King being ready. My question is, if it's some struggle in there, right? If it's some struggle in there, what do we do? You understand what I'm saying? If it's some struggle in the building, what do we do? All right, let me see if I got my man back in the building. Let's see what we're going to do, man. I don't know. He's back in the building. Hey, let's talk to this, man. I hope you feel you got your Wi-Fi connected, the ball was good. You got a few more minutes. Talk to me, man.
You there? Hello?
Nothing.
Yeah, you're breaking up. I can. It's like an echo.
Baylin, I'm sitting here looking at you. Can you hear me?
There you go. There we go. I can hear you now.
All right. We ready?
We're ready.
We good.
We're great, man. Sorry about that. You know,
I know you in the kitchen, dog. Can't be making no bologna sandwiches. You ready?
No.
All right, we going hard right now. Let's go. We going hard for 30 minutes. My question was, D'Eriq King comes in.
Okay.
He struggles a little bit. All right. When we go, you decide to pull a plug on him just maybe for a series or 2. Who goes in?
Okay, well, let me rephrase that because I'm hoping he doesn't struggle, but let's say a freak thing happens. Tyler Van Dyke. I think with the experience of Tyler Van Dyke, I think you put him in the game. Yes, Jake Garcia, in my opinion, is more, the style of D'Eriq King. But when we talk about experience and, being in a program and winning over players, I mean, he's been there for 2 years. And I think, he's definitely put his time in. And again, he does a lot of good things. And not once did I say he doesn't. I just don't think I don't think he has a skill set of Jake Garcia eventually, but I do think that you play Tyler Van Dyke right now. And again, he can show that he can throw the football. And when you don't have to prepare for that week in and week out, Tyler Van Dyke does, bring a lot of, difficulties for defenses because he can throw the football. You have to really, game plan for Tyler Van Dyke and his ability to throw the football in a spread offense. You won't see him run the ball, but like I just mentioned before, you'll see him do a 3-step drop, slide up, 5-step drop, maybe go under center a little bit. He brings in that pro style spread offense ability and able to do that. So I still do think that you put in Tyler Van Dyke as the backup going into the season. But when you talk about the day that that D'Eriq King, graduates or can't play anymore, one, we have the kid coming in, but 2, I think after a whole year and experience with this offense running scout team, I think Jake Garcia will ultimately have the team as far as going into 2022. But as of right now, if something happens this year, I think Tyler Van Dyke comes in as the backup.
All right. I'm gonna ask you a crazy question, man. I've asked this before, and I'm gonna ask you a crazy question.
Let's just hope that we keep Brett Lashley. I'm just gonna say that because I think if they have a good year,
Well,
I think he's gone.
Yeah, that's part of it too. But I'm gonna ask you a crazy question. I'm gonna get into that piece. Of course I'm optimistic. I want Derek King to start. Let's go, D King. Got it.
Yeah.
But like I said, medical is medical. One of these guys come in, whether it's TVD or Jake Garcia, beats Alabama. Does Derek King get the job back?
100%. I mean, you have to just go game by game, and I feel like some people might have bad games. Man, there was times.
I'm not saying Derek played. He didn't play. Wasn't clear.
Oh, okay.
He's not clear. I'm just saying he didn't play.
You're going to Alabama, and he's still not physically ready to play the game. And let's say Jake Garcia or Van Dyke lights it up and beats Alabama. You're saying does Derek get his job back, or do we ride with what's going on? That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's the question.
I still think you play Derek King, and I know that people are probably going to disagree with that, but he's done absolutely nothing to lose his job. I really hope, I hope it, he does come back. There is that risk, but as far as things that I've seen, he's going to be full go come Alabama. But again, of course, they're going to say that. But in my opinion, as far as what happened, I just don't see Derek. Our schedule, honestly, and be honest with you, is a little weak. Other than our non-conference opponents, with Alabama obviously being the first game of the season, that's pretty tough. But other than that, I don't see Derek King losing his job off of one game. And that's just my opinion. I wouldn't do that for the sake of, Derek's career and what he's definitely done and the dynamic he does. Again, game planning is a big deal in performance, and how a kid plays is based off game planning. I do believe that we have the ability and the talent to beat a team like Alabama, regardless of who's at quarterback. Derek does give a different dynamic with his legs, but at the end of the day, I feel like we have enough talent to match them up. Yeah, I mean, on paper, it might look outmatched, but I still believe it goes based off preparation and game planning. I mean, look at the game years ago against Notre Dame. We should have not even been close in that ball game, and we saw we ended that season was terrible and losing to Pittsburgh and some other teams like 4 straight after going number 2 in the country. But we ended up dominating that football game, and you just don't know how you game plan or how kids come in emotionally to prepare for a team. So, I mean, a kid can come in and have no pressure and then all of a sudden look like the dang next Heisman Trophy winner. And then Derek comes healthy after week 3 or something. And, it happens. But again, Malik Rozier looked like a freaking Heisman candidate. And then against Pittsburgh looked like he shouldn't be on the field. I mean, you just don't know, right? Or, we have Ja'Cory Harris who goes 3-1 against probably the hardest 4 games anybody can start with. And then he ends up tanking the rest of the season. And now he went from Heisman to forgotten. So you just don't know. I just don't think that, again, you lose your job based off one game. But Alabama, I mean, you do have a big argument, especially Alabama, who's coming in probably number 2 or number 3 in the country. But at the end of the day, I don't think he loses the job. Matter of fact, I think Brett Lashley's going to game plan to where they don't have to put the pressure on the quarterback to win that game. I think they're going to control the clock. And, if Tyler Van Dyke's out there, they're running the ball 90%. And then if they throw it, he'll have some success. But I don't think it'll become like a Johnny Manziel performance or even a Mackenzie Milton where you're like, what just happened here? So.
Well, it's funny because I'm going to get into a game plan. Like I said, before you got on, I was just telling the audience that I haven't really talked on this show about Alabama, right?
Yeah. Because by the way, we're going to that game together. So
I'm already there.
Uh-huh.
So like I said, we talked about the YouTube takeover and so forth. But as you see over my shoulder, I got the countdown up here. And so we're 75 days away. We're 2.5 months away. So we're going to talk about a little bit here, but I'm just saying I haven't made a show dedicated to quote unquote Alabama. I know a lot of guys have, and that's fine. That's great. But I want to get a little bit closer because there's a lot of things I want to talk about prior to that. So let's go into this piece as I brought that up about the quarterbacks. It's all a consensus of the fact that we know Jake Garcia will be the future of this program, right?
Yeah.
And again, a lot of this is just
as of right now. Yeah, hypothetically.
Just hypothetically speaking, so forth. I think everybody kind of understands the one out guy is TVD. which if he was to transfer, nobody would really be shocked. Because and I think it all based on how Ja'Cory Brown plays coming in. And so that's that. So here's the next segment, I guess I want to ask. What do the quarterbacks, now we're going to get into kind of Alabama talking. What does the quarterbacks, I don't care who it is, just whatever quarterback is out there, what do the quarterbacks have to do to win this game? What should be the game plan for them?
Turnovers. And you're gonna freak out when I say this, because this is like, again, contradicting. In my opinion, the best player at the quarterback position right now to beat Alabama is Tyler Van Dyke. And I know it's weird to say that. And I only say that because if you look at the history of where Alabama struggles, it's in the pass game. They have speed everywhere on defense. Now we're talking about they thrive on dual threat quarterbacks, unless you're Johnny Manziel, who is a freak of nature and does things. But guess where he beat him? He really beat him in the air. But if you look at where they struggle defensively, it's in the air. For whatever reason, when Alabama loses, it's because of the pass game. It's never been because of a run game. When you see Florida almost beat them, guess what? Kyle Trask had nearly the game of his life, almost put him in the Heisman seat. When you look at Joe Burrow, who absolutely demolished them, right? Same thing. What happened? Pass game. Joe Burrow did have his little runs here and there, but the kid was phenomenal in the air. When Alabama has lost a game, Cardell Jones, same thing when he was at Ohio State, beat him in the air, pocket passer. When you look at where Alabama struggles, it's when they are playing against a quarterback who is standing in the pocket, delivering the deep ball accurately, throwing timing routes, killing it over the middle because they stay in that too high all game, and just dissecting it. And does D'Eriq King have that ability? In my opinion, that's the one area he needs to work on, is being accurate with the deep balls we've seen last year and reading defenses with the football, because, again, he kills you with the legs, which helps him set up play action and RPO, which he's really good at, especially throwing slants. But when you talk about game planning against Alabama, and weird as it sounds, when you talk about a kid coming in and having the game of his life, I think based on what I saw in the spring game and how they game plan the spring game around Tyler Van Dyke throwing the football, I think he really does give us the best chance to beat Alabama. Not saying he's the best quarterback on the roster, but with the skill set that he has and where Alabama lacks in the pass game, because they're so big on run, because they have so much speed on the edge and at the linebacker position where they come up and not a lot of RPOs have success against them. When you talk about a quarterback and game planning, I think that they need to go with a little bit of the strategy they used in the spring game with Tyler Van Dyke and some of the play calling where he's thrown 5 or 6 touchdowns in a game with no picks. He does that. We beat Alabama. So it's going to be interesting. Do they use as an excuse? Were they game planning that from the get-go to build for Alabama? We don't know that. Are they willing to say D'Eriq is not ready yet, so we're going to come in with Tyler Van Dyke as our starter going into Alabama for week 1, and then they open up the offense where we just see the ball being thrown? Do we see? I don't know. It'll be very interesting in how we game plan for that, because in my opinion, again, D'Eriq King is the best quarterback on the roster, but with his ability to run the football, Alabama takes that away with all the speed they have. So now we have to beat him in the air. Who has the best option to do that? Tyler Van Dyke, and honestly, it's not even close. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that first week or two with the quarterback position. But I don't think, let's say Tyler Van Dyke goes out there and throws 5 touchdowns against Alabama, I don't think that week 2, if D'Eriq all of a sudden is healthy, that they knew that game plan was to beat Alabama in the air. Now they go into ACC play with a dual threat that D'Eriq King and riding the senior through season. So we'll see how it happens. It's just interesting. It's just a weird thing, because again, you look at you look at the two with Jalen Hurts and Tua. His first year, Tua would come in sporadically. Again, we know Tua is a pocket passer. Jalen Hurts is a dual threat. Jalen Hurts, again, finished the year when he began the starter, was a starter, but then Tua would come in certain games and win the game for Alabama in the pocket, right? Passing the ball, as well as in the national championship. Then going into the next year, that's when they said, okay, we're going to stick with the spread offense, not the RPO. Jalen Hurts will send you to Oklahoma, where you have more success in the RPO, and Tua is our guy. But I think they play that the same way with Tyler Van Dyke and D'Eriq King going into the year. with the whole, strategy or game planning on how they want to do it, especially with the Alabama game as we're talking about.
Yeah, and all that makes sense, right? And so it's funny that you say that. And a lot of people have been posing this question, so I kind of want to answer this from maybe a coaching perspective. Hurricane Millie said, here we go. He says, but do we have, I guess it's TVD's old linemen for that? Here's what I say, right? In today's game, even when I looked at, and I just looked at this 2 days ago, I looked at Devontae Smith's highlight film, right? Because I was talking about, not to get into 4-2 and 4-3-5. Oh my God, Lee, if I could get into that conversation, I drink the whole thing of cane juice here. But anyway, I was looking at his highlight tape because I wanted to see how they used him. They used him. His stuff was quick. He was very rare. He was down the field, don't get me wrong. But what they understood about him was get him the ball now, let him do what he does, right? And get busy. He did have some down the field throws. I'm not saying he didn't. But a lot of his stuff was drag routes. And that is something I don't see Miami doing a lot of. We do some. But the drag route is the hardest to cover in man as well as in zone. Because in man, the guy is, from the snap of the ball, he's running away from you. So he's already open. In zone, he's easily to get lost if he knows how to maneuver through the zone and get to the back of defenders. Those are easy throws. You very rarely see drags and things picked off. You very rarely see them. You know they're a quarterback. They're either incomplete or incomplete. Maybe batted down from a D-line perspective, but they're not roped off. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's so hard to do, especially out of man. So back to answer the question for Hurricane Millie was, do we have the O-line for that? Sometimes we don't need the O-line for that. Sometimes the scheme allows it. I think we had the O-line that can hold the guy up for catch, throw, nows, right? So 3-step drop, in essence, you're in shotgun. You're already in 3-step drop. Catch, boom, throw. Get it out. Let the guys work down the field. You understand? And how you soften guys up. We got to use the three-headed monster back there. But the three-headed monster is Cam, Knighton, and Chaney. If we use those guys, we have to use. I still think that is the heart and soul of our offense. I know this is a passing world now, and everybody like to see 450 yards passing and 52 to whatever. But as a coach, hell, I'm good with winning 3-0. I won a football game 3-2. They got a safety, and we had a field goal. I'm cool with that. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to say. Now, of course, the way the game is structured now, people are going to score. It's just unfortunate how it is. Football today has kind of gotten in an arena league, right, with the chucking the ball around the yard and so forth. But everything doesn't have to be 30, 40-yard pass. And so hopefully I answered that question when it comes to the line. Yeah, this time we got to let it down the field. But there are things we can do scheme-wise to get it out. And I've always said this. If your player can't get open, your scheme has to get them open. Just that simple. What's your take on that, Baylin?
Yeah, I love the question, and I'm glad he actually was specific on Tyler Van Dyke, because as we've been stating, or at least I've been very vocal about, is the fact that he, in the spring game, was all pass, never really did RPO, so he's going to have to sit in the pocket. The best thing about a spread offense, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, the 12 Orphans movie that's out based on a true story, it's really where the spread offense came from, and it was from a wing T set, spreading the guys out. But the best thing about today's spread, which we know as the shotgun, is the fact that you really don't need offensive linemen. You don't. They just need to block for the 1.3 or 2 seconds that you need to get rid of the football. The best thing about the quarterback position at the pocket passer level is the fact that, as well as where I train, is the fact that everything is based off drop step and timing. So when you have drop step and timing with a great scheme, right, whether it's crossing routes, whether that's finding holes or beating man coverage, on this 3rd step or this 3 with a hitch or 5-step drop, 5 with a hitch, that ball has got to come out. So regardless if you have blocking or time or anything like that, if you're in a spread offense, throwing the ball with Tyler Van Dyke, we're not talking about anybody else, because that was a question. Do we have the offensive lineman for Tyler Van Dyke to pass the ball? My opinion is yes. You don't need much blocking for a pocket passing quarterback because everything's based off timing. So one, he has to have a pre-snap read process that has to go through his mind like, hey, where do I need to go with the football when the ball snapped? You go based off alignment of corner, safety play, stuff like that in the box. Then as you see things rotate and the play develops, that's all going through your drop step process. So as soon as that third step hits or that 5-step hits, you know exactly where you're going with the football. You just got to make an accurate throw. And I think that's what Tyler Van Dyke really excels at, his accuracy on his throws, which is we've seen in the spring, all of spring pretty much, and especially in the game where he lit it up. I think he threw 3 touchdowns, no picks, where Jake Garcia threw 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. So we're not even going to go with that. But I'm saying as far as throwing the ball, I do think that we have the linemen enough for him to be successful, because in a spread offense, not RPO, that's a difference. The RPO, you're going to need some guys that's going to block because it could be a run, it could be a pass. You got to have some guys that are physical. And that was a lot of our conversations last year watching, Miami football. Like, where is the offensive line in the RPO game? Because we need holes and we need, gains or whatever. But as far as Tyler Van Dyke, we're going to stick to the spread. I think that he's just fine, honestly.
Yeah, and it's funny, like a lot of people think, and I always hear this, right? You talk about a Tom Brady comparison, not to our guys, but just talking about Tom Brady. If you ever go look at that guy's film, he gets the ball out quick.
Yeah, he's smooth.
Right. But he's smooth, but he, like you said, the pre-snap read is that's what makes his game, right? It's not his throw. He ain't out there Brett Favre. He ain't threading needles, right? He ain't gunning the ball.
Accurately, yeah.
He knows where to go with the ball pre-snap.
I don't think he threw a pick all spring, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody quote me on that, but I think they had 4 scrimmages and he did not throw 1 pick all spring. So that tells you he's a smart quarterback, no doubt.
No, I agree. But like I'm saying is that it's the same thing. Look at it. You don't have to have – you just have guys so they don't have a free shot at your quarterback getting him hit just on knockdowns. You know what I mean? You don't want him just getting blasted every time. But if you look at Tom Brady, it's very rare that he – and I'm saying that to say we should take a page out of that book. And I'm surprised more college offenses don't do that with quarterbacks. Because if you look at his average, I remember what Super Bowl was that? He was 32 for like 329 yards out of 50. Bro, that's 10 yards. That's 10 yards a throw. You know what I mean? He'll chunk one up to 6'7" Gronkowski here and then to keep you honest. But everything was underneath, pop, pop, pop. And we have those type of guys. We got the Brashard Smith. We got those kind of guys. I think if we get the ball out early into those guys, even like a Knighton out the backfield, even a Chaney. I don't know how well Cam does catching and his transition, like, catching in open space. If you catch him like maybe on the swing out the backfield, that's a little different. But I'm just talking about the fluidity between Knighton and Chaney, how fluid they are, how I'm not saying they're Le'Veon Bells, but they have that kind of style of play where they can be a runner as well as a pass catcher. Out the backfield, you can go from a 4 wide to a 5 wide with those guys. Just motion them out. It changes everything for a defense, right? People don't realize 4 wide is pretty standard now. You see that all the time. When you see 5 wide, people start to panic, and they don't realize it's nothing but the running back. But this guy has the ability to catch the ball just like another receiver would. It's not like Thurman Thomas or Emmitt Smith out there, wide receiver. Like, yeah, all right, Emmitt, you pushing your luck. You know what I mean? So I think we can do it. We just have to get the ball out the hands quickly, take the pressure off the quarterback. I've always said that we can't put the pressure on the quarterback. I don't think any of those 3 guys are the guys you put the load on their back when it comes to arm talent. You know what I mean? I think you put on them 3 guys standing behind them. Let those guys work. Let those guys work for you. All right. Real quick, let me give a couple of shout out. Housekeeping, what's up, man? Cole, what's good? What's going on with you? Big shout out to Footballville. He came on through here too. I mean, to shoot him out earlier, man. And Miami Flow will be coming on here at 8:30 in a little bit. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Anthony said, I don't hold spring ball as high as others because no one is trying to hit the quarterback. I get that, but we're looking at, and I totally agree with you, but I'm looking at ball placement. That doesn't change. Right? The timing of the ball releasing, that doesn't necessarily change. Now, of course, it changes if you're getting hit, but at the same time, looking at the mechanics, that doesn't necessarily change. So I'm all for that. If you want, Baylin, we can open up the phone lines here for the next like 10, 15 minutes, man, and we'll be good to go. All right, miss, we're going to pop these phone lines open. Let me do this right quick. I'm going to pop these open. You guys, somebody asked earlier if they could call in. You sure can call in. So let me go ahead and put this up here. We'll be on for about another 10, 15 minutes, depending on how the phone lines are rolling. While I'm doing that, check out my man. Like I say, our sponsor for the day, Mr. Alex Tabio. We got 129 in the chat. Looking for anything financially with home loans, FHA, VA, conventional loans, anything mortgage broken, call this guy. He's certified in the whole state of Florida, 305-205-1697, or just email him as well. All right, here we go. Caller, talk to us. Give us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, man, it's Alexander, man. I'm a Clemson fan, but I had to give y'all support, man. I'm calling out of Wyoming.
Alakazam, what's up, man? Hey, I was thinking about you because I remember last time I talked to you, we were talking about doing some hunting and stuff, man. I just came back from Georgia doing some hog hunting, man. How you been? Been a minute.
Good, man. I've been doing some military stuff, man. I've been busy with that, man. So that's why I really ain't been on social media that much.
Well, man, thank you for your service. I appreciate it, man. And what's your question, man? Talk to us.
I was calling, man, to give support, man, as far as y'all playing Alabama, man. I put it like this. We all know how Alabama is. We know they're going to get good players. But y'all can beat them. Y'all are more talented than what Clemson was in 2016 and 18. Yeah, I know we had Trevor Lawrence, but I really think y'all can beat them. And that'd be good for the ACC, man, because I get tired of people talking about, excuse me, Clemson only won the ACC. The ACC is down. So I just give my support, man. I hope y'all beat them. But I do think that Jake Garcia is the best quarterback y'all got to start. I know people like Derek King, but I just don't think he's going to be ready from the injury, man. I don't know. That's a pretty serious injury. I haven't heard too much about it, but I do think Jake Garcia is the best quarterback to start. So that's just my opinion.
No, I totally agree with you. But my only fear is, and Baylin, I'll let you jump on here next, it's only a few guys that can come in as true freshmen and do the Trevor Lawrence type thing. Like it's only a few.
Yeah.
Like it seems like it's more frequent than it really is. But we're talking about true freshmen. You know what I mean? To come in and do what he's doing at quarterback. You know what I mean? Baylin, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts is I don't disagree with him. Like I said, I think we're all high on Jay Garcia. I think that, there's a reason why he enrolled early, and there's a reason why he, is talked about in the media, and I see a lot of things that he does in practice that really has that wow factor, and he's only 18. And again, he's supposed to be in high school. He's supposed to enroll this past month, like the start of this month. And he got in here in January. But the one thing, again, that I saw in spring, and again, I like where he said, whoever made that comment saying that, they don't really take spring in account, but you should, because spring is a very important part of, football and development and stuff like that. And getting able to practice, learn the playbook, which Jake Garcia obviously needs to do more. But here's the thing. When we talk about game planning against Alabama, we go into who's the best option to win this football game if it's not Derek King. And as we've stated before, Jake Garcia might be the most talented quarterback on this roster, or, already light years ahead of where he's supposed to be, which is phenomenal. But Tyler Van Dyke brings in that spread offensive ability, and he's comfortable in the offense for the last 2 years, that he's able to just step right in there, I think, and without much game planning for his game, come and have some success, especially in the air where Alabama really lacks. When you're throwing Jake Garcia in your first game's Alabama, that's you don't want to lose confidence, that early as an 18-year-old kid, because then now the pressure really is on you. Let's say he doesn't do well. Well, now, you went from the most talked about prolific quarterback of the future to, does he have the ability? And that stinks, because that's what the narrative is going to be, even though he's only 18 years old. He has to have time to develop. It's rare to have a kid come in there and do what people do. People forget to realize Johnny Manziel had a redshirt year as well before he even stepped on the field. So that would be like a Jake Garcia situation. Just sit for a year, learn, and then now when it's your time, go in and flourish. So I think right now Tyler Van Dyke gives us the best option. But as far as overall, I do again, I think that that Jay Garcia is literally a little bit of Derek and a little bit of Tyler into one player. And when you have that you become special. And I think over the course of the next year, we're talking 2022, Jay Garcia is coming in, I believe, as the starting quarterback for the University of Miami.
I love it, man. So talk to me, Alakazam. Anything else?
No, I don't want to hold the phone lines too up. I'm going to let some Miami fans get on. But before I leave, man, like I said, good luck in the off-season. Y'all got a pretty solid schedule. Don't take Michigan State lightly, man. I know they only won 2 games last year, but don't take them lightly.
Now, listen, it's
Hey,
something
I'm
about
rooting for
Michigan
y'all.
State. Listen, it's something about Michigan State, and then Baylin said it'd be over by halftime. I'm telling you, man. We'll talk about that in a second, but you're right. Also, man, Alakazam, appreciate your donation. Thank you so much, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man. All right, so real quick, somebody said, how can he call in? Right here, Joe Eason says, how can I call in? You have the dial number that's scrolling down here at the bottom. Sometimes it won't go through because other people are calling in. It gets tied up. You know what I mean? So that's how you call in there, Joe. I know you asked that earlier. Let me say this real quick. We'll take a few more calls. Somebody asked me about coaching. I think it was 904 Hurricane or Hurricane Millie. But anyhow, I did want to answer this piece because somebody was talking. We got a call coming in. We rolling right now. Let me see. I just saw this and I want to make sure I answered it. And it moved out of the way. Oh, okay. Talking about linebacker play. I guess the thing is.
Oh my gosh. Please tell me we're not talking about linebacker. Do that.
No. We're not gonna do it, but I want to address something real quick. That's why I want to say that. So, Coach, quick question. I know we all love number 3 Frierson, but will Al Blaze be a better striker? I feel he's out of position with Ivy and Stevenson on the outside. Here's my problem. Can I be honest with you? And I'm not going to stay on this long. If I hear somebody else trying to want to move somebody to a striker position, we got 10,000 strikers. We need to find some mics and wheels, man.
Agreed.
I'm just being honest. We just got to find some mics and wheels. Everybody, we got 10,000 strikers.
Just got a couple committed.
10,000 of them. Can we get a mic and a wheel linebacker, please? All right, we got a caller calling in. Caller, talk to us. Give us your name, where you're calling from. It's an 818 area code. I don't know where that is. Where's 818 area code? I don't know. They're not saying anything. Well, call back in. 818 area code is calling in right now. But anyway, we need inside interior guys. I have no clue why everybody talking about the striker. We have 35,000 strikers.
Half our rosters are DBs.
Golly. We got between wide receivers and strikers, we could sell some of them cats off, man. I have no idea.
Making some trades.
All right. So anyway, let me get this going because we're about to close this thing down. It's 8 o'clock. I'll take a couple more calls if we can get them on in. Let's see what we got going on here. All right. This phone line is open. We're ready to go. 818 is LA or Louisiana, maybe, I guess. Anyway, Brother Jay Blaze says, thank you, Coach Hayes. I agree. I agree, too. I don't know what's going on. Cynthia Cox said that's Tampa. I didn't know Tampa was 818. No, it's 813. 813, yeah. All right. So, anyhow, 818 somewhere, I guess. They said LA or Louisiana. I'm not sure. It might be LA. But anyhow, all right. Got a 252 calling up in this thing. All right, caller, talk to us from the 252. Where is that located?
Hey, Coach. I'm in North Carolina.
North Carolina. What's going on, man?
I'm just a fan of football, and I like watching your videos on player game recruiting thing. And I was just thinking about, like, do you think Miami needs a quick start to give them confidence coming in the first game, or how would the start dictate how the game goes?
Okay, so your first question is, does Miami need a quick start for confidence going through the season?
Just for the first game.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I want to win all the games now, so I don't know what you're asking. I want to win all the games. You talking about a quick start? First quarter?
Alabama.
Yes. We need yes. I apologize. Yes, I think anybody. I don't care if you playing when we go to play Central Connecticut State or whatever. We better have a quick start. You know, I mean, I just think that's how you come out in the game, right? You don't play around with anybody because at any moment you can be shot. You know what I mean? So whether it's Alabama, whether it's like I say, from Alabama to Michigan State to App State to Central Connecticut, or whoever it is, you want to dominate at the very beginning. You understand? And that's in every level of game. You know what I mean? That's every level. If you ask my personal opinion. Baylin, you got something different to say?
Yeah, and I think that was one of the best things that we saw last year with Miami, you know, and the big games that, you know, up to about week 8, I think we were on 4 or 5 game day games. And in each one of those games that we won, we scored first. We set the tone, and it was like the whole vibe just changed. So I think the most demoralizing thing coming into the first game of the season is your opponent, which would be Miami versus Alabama, Miami coming in and literally scoring and punching someone in the mouth on the first drive. That's like the most demoralizing after going through summer workouts, after going through spring, and all of a sudden you come out, a team starts fast on you. That really, one, it gives the team confidence that scored, but two, it's like, whoa, you just got punched in the mouth right off the bat. So that's that's very big when it comes to, especially with Miami. I felt like we fed a lot when we got the lead early. I feel like we play together and those kids start believing. It's when we get down in history that shows Miami just kind of defeats themselves. It's almost like, we're just, not in. Even in the NC State game, where we were down pretty much the whole game, we punched them in the mouth first. And it seemed like we were still in the football game, even though it was just weird, but we ended up pulling it out and winning at the end. So, and Louisville was one of the games that I remember the most last year, where we literally, the first drive, went right down and just scored and then scored again. It was like, wow, this is the Miami football. So as far as when we talk about Alabama, they're already coming in with a chip on their shoulder. They're like, we just won the national title. We're playing against Miami, who, historically doesn't do well in big time games like this, especially against top 5 opponents. And, we did the same thing with Clemson last year. We got popped pretty good. So, they're expecting that. So you talk about momentum going into the season. I think for any team to score the opening drive against Alabama on national TV, especially with Miami, that's going to give huge advantage for Miami, especially in that football game for sure.
Exactly. And what's the second part of your question? The second part.
Do you know the maximum score the defense need to keep Alabama under?
Yeah, I got it. 1 point less than what we score, and we good to go. Hey, 1 point less than whatever we put up, and we win the game, man. But I think realistically, I think in most college football, 21 points is probably the average now in today's football, the way the game is played, the kind of penalties that keeps momentum going and drives going. So somewhere between the 17 to 24 range is probably pretty average in scoring for most opponents. You know what I mean? Somewhere in there. You know what I mean? But that's what I think, man. As long as we got one more point than they have, hey, I don't care if it's 99 to 100, baby. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. I understand.
Or 2-0, one safety to win the game, baby. You in high school?
No, I'm in college.
Oh, college. Okay. Are you playing ball in college?
No.
Okay. No, I wasn't sure, man, because like I say, man, I appreciate you, man, watching and everything. Thanks so much. And, I hope you hit that subscribe button too, man. And, I'm going to keep those videos pumping for you, man.
I mean, appreciate content.
Anytime. Thanks a lot, man. All right, we'll take one more just for the road. If we get one more in, this guy called in. He doesn't know I got a filter on my phone for BS. Joe Eason, here you go. He calling right now. We finna roast his behind. It's a 10-second delay, so he don't know I said that.
There's a reason why his phone call didn't go through.
Exactly. Hold on, he coming on now. Hello?
About time, man. About time. Hello?
Yeah, about time. I'm listening to you. Talk to me, man.
So I don't know what we talking about this Bama stuff for. We might as well just move on to the following week, man, because that's dead.
Come on,
man.
Man.
People run the ball completely down our throat, man. Do you know who is the running back coach?
Yes.
It's the same running back coach that broke a record on us in North Carolina. It's the same running back coach. He just got better players now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to run the ball down our throat. Our linebacking crew, you talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't improved in our linebacking crew. That's what a weakness going to fall in at the game.
Okay.
So I don't know what we're expecting differently. And secondly, my point was about, like I said, like we really need Earl Little Jr. I know we talking and we hyped about, Kamari Rogers and all that. But to me, watching film, Earl Little is way better than Kamari Rogers.
He's a ball player now, like I say. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, Joe. Right? Here's the thing, Joe. I haven't watched. You, do me a favor. Cut your background down a little bit. It's echoing through the thing. I haven't watched Kamari Rogers' film yet because that's why I do the WREs and stuff. So I haven't watched it. I don't know what. I'm just basically. I don't watch him until I look at the film and do the film. So I'm going kind of off the fan base, hearing he can ball and so forth. But I have done Earl Little's film already. And yes, he can ball. We have to get those guys. But in the defense, right now is a David and Goliath situation, right? I think in my whole heart they going after Earl Little just like they going after anybody else. But if we don't get him, we got to have an alternative. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we saying, nah, we don't like Earl Little and let's take Kamari Rogers. We saying we like Earl Little a lot. But there's a possibility we may not get him. We done seen these schools come in here and snatch them from the Ja'Cory Brooks, the Earl Little, Patrick Surtains. I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
I'm from Belgrade. I'm from Mug City. So, you know what I'm saying? So our alternative was Jacoby Spells. That was the alternative. It's looking like he's going to West Virginia over us.
Yeah, but I think we're going to beat West Virginia.
Guys and lose these battles.
I agree, but I think we're going to get Ja'Cory Spell. That's my honest opinion. Haven't seen his film yet either. But I think we're going to get Ja'Cory Spell. I talked to a couple people. I really think we're going to get that. If we lose out to West Virginia now, come on. Now, I just did a film. There's a young man. I actually just did his film. His name is Mumu Ben Wahad. It's coming out this week. It was already recorded, so I've seen that. Talk about it. He is from Grayson, same place Jake Garcia is from. This cat can play. He can play, and he's going to West Virginia. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. Now, he can play. He's probably about 6 foot 180, and that cat can play. I did his film, so it's coming out this week. So I watched his film already, basically, and broke it down. But I
was saying, do you know what Spells, his former coach, played? His former coaches at West Virginia?
No, I didn't know that, but I wouldn't doubt it if they have a connection there.
They definitely have a connection.
Yeah. But that's just it, right? We got to get those type of connections back. You understand what I'm saying? But then here go the thing, right? Let's be honest. But then you look at Earl Little, his daddy played at the U.
That's exactly it. So what are we doing to miss out on that? What are we doing to miss? Why are we? And I get it, and I understand. Like, you do it a lot too. I got to be honest with you. You do it a lot about keeping the talent at home. You win games in order to keep talent at home. It's been like that from the beginning of time. Out-of-state recruiting has always been that way. It's always been out-of-state recruiting. How do you beat out-of-state recruiting? Is you win. Nick Saban wasn't able just to go in Alabama and just get people. He already had a winning resume. He had already won before previously. To tell kids, to tell the Julio Jones, no, you need to stay in Alabama. We don't have that. We haven't won anything. So we can't, who are we to give demands to kids and we haven't won anything?
I totally agree. And that's what I'm saying. I'm with you 1,000% on that, right? And we haven't won, but we also have to say, but we as a fan base. And so even with you saying this, right, it's some things, you know how you say at the water cooler and some things you say at home. What I want the fan base, what I want the fan base to understand is when you called in and said, man, we could just walk past this game. To me, that's a negative. No, regardless if it's real. No, hear me out. No, I didn't ask you to lie. But what I'm saying is, what did I just say? There's some things you talk about at the water cooler and some things you talk about at home. What I'm trying to say is on a platform like this, I will never discourage or dispel the Hurricanes when I'm talking about kids and recruiting. Now, I get on the coaches behind, but I'm talking about, man, we just walk past them. So what do you think recruits are thinking? Why they won't come to the U?
Because what's the biggest influence? To actually do it. That's the biggest influence. I can say whatever I want to say.
No, I agree.
But if you actually do it, that's what they see. You go by what you see. You know what I mean?
I agree. And it ain't too many people. But I hate to say this. But hold on. It ain't too many people beating them cats. It ain't too many people beating these top three schools. So what I'm trying to say is Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson ain't losing games like that. Yes. They may lose it in the championship. They may lose against each other in the playoffs, but they're not losing the outside forces.
Got a point, but when the Clemson get on that echelon, when the Clemson become on that level, is when they went into the national stage against them and they actually did the work. That's when they became considered with the Alabamas. You got to win. It all comes down to winning and losing.
I agree.
If you're losing, it's pointless. You got to win. You got to come up with a million excuses, but at the end of the day, it's about dubs and L's.
I agree with you. Go ahead, Baylin. You had something to say?
No, winning solves everything. So I'm glad he pointed out. And when we talk about the Alabama game, as we know, I think what we're hoping for is like another Florida-Alabama game where we're the one that wins the game. I mean, the end of the day, I believe the only way to win that game is holding to 17 points. I don't think we're going to do that. So that now the next option is we got to outscore them. It's going to be tough, and that's what we talk about this quarterback position, who fits the best mold to actually put up points on the board and attack the weaknesses. But, yeah, when you talk about that linebacker play, we're absolutely atrocious and horrendous, and until we get better at that position, I think Miami's defense will never be back to where it is. I think we have enough DBs to be successful, but I think that's another thing that players are looking at when you talk about kids that are trying to commit. And here's the thing. We bring so much to the table at that position that kids are committing early that might not be as good as the ones we want. And we're extending the offer to these kids so they can stay home. But at the end of the day, when you have a kid that's, that we want, seeing another kid commit, they're like, okay, well, they already got their guy. I'm looking somewhere else. And we really want them. So what are we doing in the recruiting process, or how are we talking to these players, especially when you got a guy that his father played at Miami or has connections there? Why are these guys not being there? That's the guys we need to spend our effort in and not try to get just everybody that's pretty decent on the best high school football team in Miami. So we need to go to those guys and really try to get those kids to want to stay at home. But at the end of the day, when they look at the roster and there's 12 DBs, they're like, man, where do I fit in? Unless I have a really good connection. But we got to do better at that position, or every position, to be honest with you, and not just recruit anybody just because they have 3 stars or 4 stars, but who do we want that fits our program that's going to help us win big games? Because as you just said, the caller, Joe, you are absolutely right. We don't win big games. We don't. The only big game we won was Notre Dame, and they were a subpar average. They were really overrated, and we popped them in the mouth pretty bad. But other than that, when have we really won a big-time game? Clemson embarrassed us, pretty much showed us last year. You came in top 10 in the country, and we literally walked all over you with some of our key players injured. So, and we were healthy. And it's like, wow, we're not even meant to be on this stage yet. So how are we keeping those big-time players, those 5-star recruits? And I think we do a good job in recruiting, but we don't go over the hump. We're not the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the Ohio States, where every kid wants to go there. It's like Miami just – they get like I said. Okay,
hold on, guys. So let me ask y'all a question, because Lord knows I'm going to get off here in a little bit. But let me ask y'all a legit question, right? So what'd you say?
The wife's got home, so I think I got like a couple more minutes.
Yeah. You got a few minutes. It's Father's Day. Hey, matter of fact, Baylin, happy Father's Day. Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
it's your first one, right? But anyway, here's the deal, right? Let me ask you this. So let's go back, and I'm not talking about yesteryear. I'm just talking about how things happen, right? The Snellenberger comes in, right? He convinces these guys to stay at the University of Miami. The Alabama, let's go back to Nick Saban. They were trash. Wasn't it Mike Shula there before? Alabama comes, Nick Saban loses to Louisiana Monroe. Right. So, all right. So here my point is, and then let's go to Dabo Swinney. Wasn't nobody talking about Clemson 10 years ago? Let's be honest.
True.
Nobody was talking about Clemson football. Even when Dabo Swinney was on the staff, they weren't talking about it. When he became the head coach, he started implementing whatever it was he did to change it. But no, there's times in which that happens. Our downfall happened in several ways. I always say this: the internet and exposure happened. Larry Coker didn't recruit. He thought people were going to come just because it was the U. Those two things. And it takes a day to knock it down. It takes forever to build it back up. That's one. My second thing is, now, do you, Joe, as the caller, do you believe that Manny Diaz and his staff are, because it's about relationships, so do you think they are forming the right relationships to get those kids? To get those kids to get us where we can win games.
Absolutely not. I don't.
You don't think so?
I think we lucked out last cycle. But like I said, I'm from the muck. I got connections across. I talk to people. Put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to people. What this man did to with some even with our legacy kids, it's atrocious. Some of the things that goes on with this man. Me personally, I wanted Lane Kiffin to get the job because I felt like he fit the mold and he fit the U brand.
What about your thoughts on Butch Davis?
I don't
for him too.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what he said.
I said, what about Butch Davis? Because I know I was a big advocate to get him as well before that whole thing went down.
Yes, I'm fine with that as well too because they understand it. Man, come on, Manny Diaz, I know his daddy was a mayor and all of that, but this man graduated from Florida State, man. Really, I'm not a Manny Diaz guy. That's just me personally. I like him better as a DC than a head coach.
There you go. And I think that's what it is. I think he's a great DC, 100%. Like Randy.
And here's my thing. I believe that. I think the same thing, right? Because like I said, I want to see that fiery Manny. But see, who knows what these agents and what these people tell you. When you get the head coach job, you gotta straighten up. You can't be that guy. You got to be who you're going to be. You understand what I'm saying? But what I must say,
Lane Kiffin, and I'm glad he brought him up because that would have been great.
I do like Lane Kiffin, right? But there's so many different variables when it comes to why that didn't happen. Even Mike Leach, some people are mad because he came up there with flip flops on. Well, yeah, if you know Mike Leach, that's the dude he is. The dude walked to work with flip flops and a couple. He's that kind of cat. You understand? But here's my only thing I'm gonna say about Manny Diaz that I have to say. Yes, I understand he went to Florida State, daddy the mayor, but I think he understands the culture of Miami, right? Now he may not have grown up in the rough streets of Miami, and he ain't walking down 62nd and was going to the Goon Bay. I get it, right? But at the end of the day, I think he understands the culture, and I think we are. Even though COVID happened, and sometimes being good is being lucky too. So even when COVID happened, I really believe in my heart of hearts he maximized on that.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of coaches would have just. So people say, "Oh, well, Leonard only came because of COVID." Well, guess what? Great. He maximized. He didn't miss an opportunity. You know what I mean? He didn't miss an opportunity to capitalize. And I think right now, barring Lane Kiffin, who we want, but they're not here. So barring no guy, even Mark Richt, who was a Miami guy, but he wasn't. He didn't do it the Miami way. You understand? He wasn't a Miami guy. He loves Miami because he's from Miami, played there. But that, like that Lane Kiffin had dudes out there doing all kind of foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what it is. And so I get where you're coming from, Joe. I want to see them win, but I do think that we are heading in that way. I think we are maybe not getting the guys that we should get right now, but we're going to upset somebody somewhere. But I've always said this, we're still 4 or 5 years away from being elite. Not very good, but elite, where we're going to be in those top 4 teams at the end of the year in January. That's where my honest opinion. You there? Joe. Maybe I was talking to the wind. Oh, well, that was Joe, y'all. Y'all say goodbye to Joe. I don't know what happened to him, but maybe he jump on in. But anyway, anyhow, Baylin, talk to us, man. Give us your closing thoughts on where we are. We let you go and let everybody else go enjoy their Father's Day. Get them something to eat, something to drink right before they turn on Miami Flow Show. Talk to us, Baylin. What's your closing thoughts for the night on the topic at hand and anything else?
Closing thoughts is I hope D'Eriq King comes back healthy. I hope that, he is ready for game 1. I do believe Tyler Van Dyke has shown a lot of promise that if he is coming in as a starter, we're in good hands, especially when it comes to Alabama and their weakness. Jake Garcia is definitely the future of Miami football, and I'm very interested to see the recruits that we come in, especially at the quarterback position with Brown. And I do believe that in the recruiting in the next couple of months, Miami is going to do some big things, and I do think that we're going to be a top 10 nationally recruiting school coming into next year. So nobody's hit the panic button yet, and we do have a good chance of preparing for Alabama to making a statement that's going to hopefully put us on a bigger platform in the near future. And like I said, we're really excited about the quarterback position, which we haven't been in a long time. And as you all know on this chat, and as we've seen before, that Miami is transfer you. And let's be honest, something might happen in the next couple of weeks or months. And that's going to shake up everything, and it's going to get us all excited. But at the end of the day, I think we're heading in the right direction. And like Coach said, about 4 or 5 years from now, when we're talking, sitting on this chat, when there's over 500, 600,000 people chatting and excited about Miami again, we're all going to remember these times and just be like, wow, like we're heading in the right direction. Now, here's the only thing. The only position now that I'm really concerned about, and I love to hear more talks about this and where we're heading recruiting with this, is that linebacker position. And, we definitely tackled that last year in our season, predictions and on the shows. And I want to see how that's improved. And as far as I know, when you have offense that pretty much scores every drive and both Jake Garcia or Tyler at the helm with, even though it's no contact, that's a big red flag for me. So, we got to make sure we're there. But I appreciate you guys listening to me and my opinions, which really doesn't matter. It's up to, really Miami football and what they think and how they're doing in practice. So I appreciate, again, you, Coach Hayes, for allowing me to be on the show, and I look forward to going on more.
Anyway, man, you always welcome, bro. Like I said, it's an open door. All you got to do is just open it, man. Come on in. Real quick, big shout out to our caller, Joe Eason, who called in, man. I loved it. I love what he was saying. He said the phone cut off. Thanks for the combo, guys. So I really appreciate it, man. Oh, and he just subscribed. He been watching and he ain't subscribed. Joe, I'm finna get on you. Also, I just checked it. We had 194 likes in the comment. I need 6 more before I get off here. 6 more likes to make it a honeybee, man. Let's go. Let's keep it 100, man. So 6 more. But anyway, I'm going to give my final thoughts. I agree with you. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Of course, we do shows every Sunday at 6:30. I'm getting off here. I know Baylin got that look like, oh Lord, I'm about to get in trouble. My wife finna hit me with the frying pan. So I'm finna let him off of here, man. We out of here. Let me cut this banner off so I can go ahead and do this. Again, real quick closing remarks. Check out right over there in that corner. I don't know which one I'm pointing. Mr. Alex Tabio, check him out, man. I sponsor the show tonight. All his information is down below when it comes to all your home needs, as well as hit up Solo D. We're going to rock out of here with Mr. Solo D at the end of it. And Baylin, I'm going to catch you, man. I appreciate you. We'll definitely be talking. Happy Father's Day to you. Tell your father I say Happy Father's Day, and we out of here. And for everybody else, we out of here, man. Thank you guys so much. We got 104. I'm good to go. I feel good. We out of here. Peace, love, and hair grease, my man. All right. We out of here, man. Thanks a lot. See you guys next Sunday. And stay tuned. Stay tuned for the Kamari Rogers WRE and the rest of them. I drop them Monday through Friday. And peace. Oh, take a sip of my cane juice. That cane juice cup right there. Woo. I'm loving it. All right, guys. See y'all till next time. Appreciate you. Peace.
D Miami Sports Music. Salute.
All right, no,
Bless up. You got finger licking live.
Know, man.
It's Kane over here. Turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You seen big homie get a fumble, he get a turnover chain. Seen big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd gon' use her. We want the turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy. We want that turnover chain, turnover chain. Turnover chain is deeper than jewelry, deeper than blink. It's deeper. See, this is our thing. And you was the team. It's strictly for Kane. Invented the swag, you rented and brag, but we want it back. Let me get that. But you can keep the old one, cause we keep something new in the bag. All of these players is hungry. Don't come in here thinking it's funny. We aiming for something. Rocking the chains when it's sunny. Even when raining or something, we ain't gonna be something. Open quarterback don't think it's sweet. The defense will make them take a seat. And if somebody strip the ball out, then somebody get a Cuban link. Now you know how I go with the fans though. We be going wild out in the stands though. If you're not with the team, you're not familiar. If you throwing U's up, you're not familiar. Come on, get loose like a band, trombone. Throw 3 or 5 up, my home. CWA, tell them about it. All the canes going wild when we yelling this out. Turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You seen big homie get the fumble, he get a turnover chain. Seen big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd gon' use her. We want the turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy. We want that turnover chain. Who that?